folks, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to Look Back. I review a lot of games, and in these videos, I take a look at the games that I reviewed a year ago, 5 years ago, and 10 years ago, and see what my opinion is on those games today. So first, we'll start with last year. So last year, I took a look at Octo Dice, which is kind of a Yahtzee-style game, almost based on the theming of Aquasphere. Wasn't a big fan of Aquasphere, but Octo Dice was okay. My only caveat was I thought that as you roll the dice, there was not as many choices as I would like in one of these Yahtzee-style games, but it was still a decent game. Tiny Epic Western. I like this game. I like the theming. I like the Wild Wild West. I felt like the poker hand part of the game, which seems to be the most interesting part of the game, actually was the least interesting. So I've dropped it a bit because I just keep, when I come back to it, I'm like, I don't know if I want to keep playing with these poker hand type things. But I do like the worker placement, and I do like the theming, and of course I wouldn't mind if it wasn't tiny, if it was just epic. Awesome Kingdom. This is a game, it's kind of a crazy style game, as you have these awesome people going, and it's almost as you're counting around. It's like a light Take That game. There's not a lot of strategy in this game, but it's so much fun anyway, as you're trying to mess over other players by placing the different things in this dungeon that you're going into. I actually really enjoyed it. Then there's Flag Dash. This is a capture the flag two-player style game. In fact, it was picked up by Ultra Pro since my review. And in this game, you're just using different people to move around, trying to get a flag, trying to knock each other out. It's simple and fun. Then there was Wethead. In fact, if you watched our live Stupidest Game Show in the World that we do at Dice Tower Con, we ended the game with Wethead. Wethead, you put the hat on and you're pulling out pegs. It's just basically roulette. And eventually one of them will make water pour on you. Highly entertaining and silly and fun, but that's pretty much the whole game. Then there is Caribou Camp, and this is a game where you're trying to collect groups of cards secretly with your partner. Solid game. Order of the Gillett Compass. I really like this one, in which you are trying to, you're rolling dice on your turn and then placing those dice in different spots. And whoever has the most dice in different areas is going to get the goals of those areas. This is based on an older game called Alia Iacta Est, and I think they did a good job at bringing it over. The theme is that of Indiana Jones. I like that, but I just really like rolling the dice and seeing what I can do with them. Looney Quest. Oh, what a wonderful game. This is a game in which you are circling things on a transparency. You're looking at a page. Everyone's looking at the same page, and it might say, circle all the good guys. So you circle them on your transparency, and then you put your transparency on top of the picture and hope that it matches what's there. Wow, great fun. Like this one, works with kids and adults, actually. Then we have Arcane Academy. This one was a surprise for me. Did not expect to like this one. And you're basically just putting cards into a grid, and when you put these cards down, they might cause chain reactions with other cards that you play. And so you're trying to run these cards, right? Build like a little machine that runs them that lets you play spells and things from your hand to get points. And then finally, a year ago, I played Dead Last. This is a game that is just, it's constantly going up for me. I'm constantly enjoying this one. It's like the game, the TV show Survivor condensed down into 15 minutes. As you make a deal in each turn, you're going to be trying to kick somebody out of the deal until one person's left and they get the treasure. And then you start over again. It gets meta really fast. There's a kind of a, basically the dead man's dilemma or the prisoner's dilemma at the end of each round sometimes. So much fun. Not everyone likes this game. I know that there's some people who hate it, but I really enjoy it. Dead Last. Then 5 years ago, Melody and I took a look at Fill the Barn, which was a game about filling a barn with different cards, an economic style game, which was essentially just too lucky for me. Then there was Big Fat Tomato, in which you are trying to collect tomatoes, little red pom-pom type things. And it was just kind of a take that game. Again, really didn't do anything for me or the kids. Small World Realms. Now this is one that's had a somewhat significant drop here. I still like it and I still would play with it. But the fact is, I would never really choose to do so. Building a map for Small World sounded like a great idea and it was fun. But as the years go by, I'm just happy to pull out the pre-made map for Small World. It's not that big of a deal to build your own map. Thus the drop. At least in hindsight. Formula Motor Racing, that came out more than 5 years ago. This is an old game from GMT where you're moving cars around on the track. You play cards and manipulate them, and at the end of the game, you want your car to be in the front. It's like a racing game without a track. The cars are just there, and you're switching the positions of them, but it works really well. Then Double Take. This is a game in which People are giving 2 clues that go together. So maybe the clue is headlock. And I'm giving you a clue for lock, and the other person's giving you a clue for head. You get those together, and you put them together to get the final answer. This was actually aged pretty well. I like the concept of 2 different clues working together, so good on them. Then we're at, let's see, Hera and Zeus. Now this one dropped slightly, not because the game is bad, but because they came out with the updated sequel to it, Thunder and Lightning from Z-Man Games, which is phenomenal. Thunder and Lightning is amazing. It's one of my favorite games. But it's based on Hera and Zeus. Hera and Zeus is a game that's kind of like Stratego, the card game. It's each player is trying to have cards in their hand. There's one card you're trying to capture from the other person. It might be in their hand. It might be on the board. You're playing cards trying to figure out where the other card is. Really entertaining game. And then finally, Thieves. Thieves is just a great game in which you are going out on an archaeological hunt and digging for things, and you reach into a bag and pull out tiles. The more tiles you pull out, the better chance you have treasure. If you find a treasure, then you throw the empty tiles back in, so that dig site is not nearly as good. There's a lot of luck to it, but also a lot of cool choices. Very thematic, very fun. Thieves. And then finally, 10 years ago, I only took a look at 2 games. One is The Curse of Ruby Rhino, which looks amazing as this kid's game, but essentially you roll dice and see what happens. Not good, unfortunately, because it looks so much fun. And then Toss Your Cookies, which is another game for kids that looks fun, and actually is, in which case there are cookies that are tossed onto a table, and you are, trying to get a whole set of cookies. It's almost like Pit for kids, as you get this set of cookies, and then of course you need a glass of milk, because don't you eat that with cookies, or drink that with cookies? Anyway, a lot of fun. Check it out. Those are the games I did from 1, 5, 10 years ago. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Look Back. I'm Tom Vasel on the Dice Tower.